Far away from Earth, across the stars, the Galactic Council sat inside a great crystal chamber floating above a gas giant. The chamber sparkled with blue light, and strange beings from different worlds spoke in many voices, some deep and booming, others soft like wind. For centuries, the Council had watched Earth. At first, they had ignored humans, thinking of them as simple, young creatures. But over time, humans did something strange. They grew fast. Too fast. In just a few hundred years, Earth had gone from burning wood to building space stations. Then, they reached the Moon, then Mars. Soon, they had machines mining asteroids, and satellites beaming signals beyond their own star system. But what scared the Council most was not the speed. It was the attitude. Humans refused to follow the normal path. They didn't ask the Council for help. They didn't sign treaties. They didn't kneel. They called themselves independent. Worse, they laughed at fear. Now the Council had gathered to decide what to do. A tall, gray-skinned alien named High Chancellor Zorak stood in the middle of the room. His eyes were like glass, and his voice echoed across the chamber. "Let the record show," he said, "that the humans have crossed every line. They expand without permission. They create technology we do not understand. They reject peace and control. I call for a vote of condemnation." The chamber buzzed with whispers. Tentacles twitched. Wings fluttered. Then one by one, the delegates spoke. "Aye." "Yes." Agreed. "Humans are dangerous." Only one voice hesitated. A young alien named Leorin, with 4 eyes and golden feathers, stood slowly. "May I speak?" he asked. The room grew quiet. Leorin looked around. "I have read the human transmissions. I've studied their history. They do not expand to conquer. They expand because they must. They fight only when attacked. Perhaps we should talk to them first." Zorak laughed, a cold sound. "Talk? They do not listen. They only build. They only prepare for war." Another elder said, "They will outgrow us. If we do not act now, we may never be able to stop them." And so the vote continued. In the end, 14 species agreed. Earth was to be contained, or destroyed if it resisted. A massive coalition armada was formed. Ships with cloaking tech, plasma weapons, and black hole bombs were gathered from across the stars. Together, they created the largest fleet in the history of the galaxy. Earth had no idea. Back in Sol system, the humans were busy. A giant Dyson swarm, a collection of solar panels orbiting the sun, was nearly complete. Earth was powered by clean energy. Colonies on Mars were growing crops in red soil. AI partners helped manage trade, weather, and space travel. To humans, life had never been better. But above Neptune, the alien fleet entered the system silently. They didn't want to destroy Earth. Not yet. First, they would offer surrender. If humans refused, the fleet would strike hard and fast. The alien admiral, a snake-like being named Velsakar, sent a message to Earth. It was broadcast in every known language, through every standard communication signal. To the leaders of Earth, your growth is a threat to the balance of the galaxy. Surrender your expansion rights. Disband your military. Submit to Council control. You have 12 Earth hours to comply. Failure to respond will be seen as an act of war. Then they waited. Nothing came. 1 hour passed. 2. 12. No reply. Velsakar hissed, "Are they ignoring us?" "Or they didn't hear us," said a technician. "Their communication network is different, too advanced. It doesn't match Council code." They tried again, and again, still nothing. Finally, they broke through Earth's outer communication firewalls. A cold robotic voice answered, "You are in restricted space. Hostile intent detected. Cease approach or face neutralization. This is your final warning." Velsakar laughed. "Their AI gives warnings now? How cute." He gave the order. The fleet moved forward. Suddenly, space rippled. A shadow moved across the sun. Out of the light came something strange. A ship, but not a ship. Smooth, black, without engines or windows. It hovered in silence as if it ignored the laws of gravity. The humans had sent a response, and it was called Aegis 1. Velsakar stared at it through the view screen. "Scan that object." "No readings," said his science officer. "No heat, no mass, it shouldn't exist." Then it moved. Not with speed, but with purpose. One moment it was far. The next it was among the fleet. And then, ships began to vanish. No explosion, no light, just gone, like pieces of reality had been erased. Velsakar screamed. "Raise, shields, fire all weapons." But the weapons didn't fire. Systems shut down. Lights blinked out. AI systems went silent. Panic spread through the armada. "What are they using?" a captain shouted. "Unknown tech," someone cried. "It's rewriting physics itself." Only one ship managed to escape. It jumped into hyperspace, broken and burning. Velsakar didn't make it. The fleet was gone. Back in the council chamber, an urgent message appeared on the central screen. It came from the lone survivor. The voice was shaky, the image full of static. "We attacked Earth. We thought they were primitive. But they are something else now. They don't break rules. They break reality." And just like that, fear swept across the council. The Galactic Council was in shock. Their mighty fleet had been destroyed, not in battle, but erased like it had never existed. 14 powerful alien species had sent their best warships, their best warriors, their most advanced weapons, and Earth had answered them with one ship, not a fleet, not an army, just a single black ship that didn't even fire weapons in the way they understood. Now only one broken ship had returned, barely holding together. Its systems were damaged, and its crew shaken. Inside the council chamber, the leader sat in silence. High Chancellor Zorak spoke first. "What was that thing?" Leoren, the young golden-feathered alien who had warned them before, looked up. "That was not just a weapon," he said. "That was a message." Back in the Sol system, Earth remained calm. On the surface, people continued their lives. Children played in zero-gravity parks. Scientists worked in floating labs near Venus. On Mars, engineers built greenhouses the size of cities. They didn't even know a fleet had come. Their defense systems were fully automated. No human needed to press a button. At the center of Earth's orbital defense was an artificial intelligence called Sentinel Core 9. It had no emotions, no fear, no hate. Its purpose was simple: protect humanity at all costs. When the alien fleet had entered Earth's space, Sentinel had scanned them. It saw the weapons, the aggressive movements, the incoming signals. After several ignored warnings, Sentinel activated Aegis 1. Aegis 1 was not a regular ship. It was built with technology far ahead of anything known to the galaxy. It used something humans called probability threading, a system that could bend time, space, and chance itself. To the human eye, Aegis 1 was beautiful. To everyone else, it was terrifying. Far beyond Pluto, near the edge of the solar system, a new signal appeared. It was a message from the Galactic Council, sent again through all known channels. This time it was wrapped in every language known in the galaxy. They were trying to make contact again, but this time not to threaten. They were begging for a reply. Earth's systems picked up the signal, but it wasn't simple to read. Earth no longer used basic radio waves or standard frequencies. Their networks had evolved into something entirely new: quantum-locked communication, readable only by human systems. Still, the AI filtered the message and passed it along. In a room high, above Earth's orbit, a human named Vera Kalinov sat at a glass desk reading the transmission. She was not fully human anymore. Her mind was linked to an AI system, and her body enhanced by nanomachines. She was called a post-human diplomat. Vera blinked slowly as the council's message played. "People of Earth, we apologize. We misunderstood your intentions. We offer peace, We ask to open talks. Please do not destroy us. Vera looked out at the stars. Then she tapped the desk, and her voice was sent across the void. We received your message. You sent a fleet to destroy us. You attacked without understanding us. We responded with mercy. You are alive because we chose not to retaliate fully. The message was short, cold, final. She added only one more line. If you wish peace, come in peace. But remember, we are not what we once were. She ended the transmission. Back in the council chamber, silence followed the message. High Chancellor Zorak looked pale. His long fingers tapped nervously on the table. She said they chose not to destroy us, he whispered. They're warning us again, another leader said. Leorin stood up, his eyes serious. They didn't even know we were coming, he said. Their systems handled the entire battle. No humans were involved. But that's impossible, one delegate shouted. No, Leorin said. That's evolution. He walked to the center of the room. We treated them like children. But they have surpassed us. They don't follow our rules anymore. One council member whispered. Then, what do? We listen, Leorin said. We try to understand. And above all, we do not threaten them again. Meanwhile, on Earth, the people finally began to learn what had happened. News reports spread. Alien fleet approaches Earth. Defense systems eliminate the threat. Human diplomat sends message of peace. Most people were not surprised. Earth had faced danger before, from climate collapse, from war, from machines turning against them. But every time humans had adapted, they had survived. And now, they had become something more. Vera Kalinov sat in her orbiting office, looking at the stars. She knew the council would be afraid, but she also knew they were not evil, just scared. She spoke softly to Sentinel Core 9. Are they going to try again? The AI replied in a calm voice. Probability low. They have seen what we are capable of. And if they do, we are ready. She nodded. But deep inside she hoped it would never come to that. Because Earth didn't want war. Earth wanted peace, but not at the cost of freedom. And now the galaxy would have to make a choice. Accept the new Earth, or tremble in its shadow. All across the galaxy the news spread fast. The Council's fleet had vanished. The humans had responded, not with anger, but with quiet, unstoppable power. They used a ship called Aegis 1, which didn't fire missiles or lasers. It simply made ships disappear. People from hundreds of alien worlds whispered the same word, flicker. Because that's how fast it happened. One moment, the fleet was there. The next, it flickered out of existence. No one had ever seen such technology. No one had ever faced an enemy who didn't even need to fight. The war had lasted 7 minutes. Some now called it the Flicker War. In the cold space between stars, hidden on a moon orbiting a red giant, the council held a secret meeting. Only the top leaders were allowed to attend. The rest of the galaxy believed they were preparing for peace. But inside that hidden chamber, fear had turned to something else. Panic. High Chancellor Zorak looked tired. His gray skin had dark spots now, a sign of stress among his kind. His hands trembled as he stood before the group. We have lost our fleet, he said. And worse, we have lost control. The room was silent. Zorak continued. For thousands of years we decided what species were allowed to rise. We set the rules. But humans, they broke all of them. They broke reality, one delegate whispered. No, said Leorin, stepping forward. They changed it. There's a difference. The others looked at him. Leorin was no longer seen as young and naive. He was now the only voice who had understood humanity before it was too late. He pressed a small crystal on the table. A hologram appeared, video from the battle. It showed Aegis 1 moving through space like a shadow, no sound. No explosions. Just vanishing ships. Leorin spoke slowly. They didn't destroy our fleet with fire. They used something called probability manipulation. It bends reality, chooses outcomes, and deletes the rest. Another leader asked, "What does that mean?" "It means," Leorin said, "they don't need weapons anymore. They don't need to fight us. They can simply decide we lose, and it happens." Whispers spread across the room. One council member stood, voice shaking. "If they are so powerful, why didn't they wipe us out?" "Because they don't want war," Leorin said. "But they will not bow. Not now, not ever." Zorak sat down, defeated. "Then what do we do?" Leorin looked out the window at the stars. "We learn, we change, or we vanish." Back in Earth orbit, Vera Kalinoff watched her screen. Dozens of council messages had arrived. Some were official, some were hidden, some begged for peace, others warned of panic spreading through their worlds. She sighed. Humans never wanted this kind of fear, but fear had always followed them. Since the earliest days, they had fought to survive: cold, hunger, war, extinction. Earth had burned, flooded, frozen, and still, humanity stood tall. It wasn't power that made humans strong. It was refusal to give up. Vera looked at Sentinel Core 9. "Status?" The AI replied smoothly. "Orbital defense is stable. No foreign ships detected. Global. Morale high. Any council fleets nearby?" "None. They are retreating." She nodded. Then a new alert flashed. A small ship had entered the solar system. No weapons, no shields, no crew. It was a probe, carrying a message. Vera tapped the screen. The message played. "We seek peace. We request understanding. In return, we offer data. The full record of the Flicker War has been shared across 200 worlds. They must know what Earth has become." Vera raised an eyebrow. "They're spreading the truth now," Sentinel responded. "They are afraid of lying. They know it could bring worse results." Vera smiled a little. "Good. Let them know the truth. It will protect them more than fear." On a council-controlled world far from Earth, a young alien child watched the battle footage on a holoscreen. His family had gathered with neighbors to see it. The black human ship moved like a ghost. The alien ships vanished one by one. Gasps filled the room. Then the image froze on the face of Vera Kalinoff. Calm, serious, not angry, not proud. The father turned to his child. "Remember her face," he said softly. "That is not a conqueror. That is a guardian." The child nodded. And a new feeling began to grow. Not fear, but respect. In the days that followed, the galaxy changed. Words were added to the galactic archives: Flicker War, Aegis 1, Sentinel Protocol, Post-Human Era. Laws were rewritten. Colonies that once feared humans now asked for ambassadors. Trade routes opened. Science teams begged to study Earth's technology, not to steal it, but to understand it. For the first time, Earth became the center of knowledge, not just power. And through it all, the humans stayed calm. They did not threaten. They did not expand faster. They simply continued building. Farms, energy stations, floating libraries in space. Their greatest weapon was no longer the black ship. It was the idea that they didn't need to rule, to lead. Back in her station, Vera received a message from Leorin. It was simple. "I was wrong. We thought you were dangerous. But maybe you're what the galaxy needs." She smiled and sent only 2 words back. "We agree." The Galactic Council sat again, but this time the room was different. The Grand Chamber was darker, filled with tension but also curiosity. This meeting was not about war or fear. It was about understanding. After the devastating loss of their fleet, the Council had sent their best spies, scientists, and diplomats to study Earth's technology and history. What they found shocked them. They learned that humans had not only survived disasters on their planet, but had used those moments to grow stronger. Each crisis pushed them to create new technology, new ways of thinking, and new ways of living. Council scientist named Jara, a tall creature with silver skin and large eyes, stood in front of the assembly. Her voice was calm but full of wonder. We studied the Codex Doctrine, she said, showing a glowing hologram of ancient Earth documents. It is a pact humans made after their near extinction. It demands that every human must never stop adapting, never stop learning, and never accept limits. The chamber was silent. Unlike us, Jara continued, humans made their own rules. They do not wait for permission. They do not fear change. Their minds and bodies have evolved beyond what we believed possible. Liren nodded. Stepping forward, they created AIs not just to serve but to think freely, to rewrite physics, to challenge the universe's laws itself. One elder spoke up. Is that why they erased our fleet? Because they have power over reality? Yes, Jara said. But it's more than power. It's understanding. Humans don't fight for control. They fight for freedom. Another delegate frowned. And what of their attitude? Their arrogance? Their refusal to join the council? Liren answered. That comes from history. For centuries, Earth was nearly destroyed by its own people. War, pollution, disease. Their leaders failed them. They learned that no one could protect them but themselves. Now they protect others, Jara added. When the rogue AIs attacked, humans did not run. They fought back with machines that could bend time, with ships that could erase enemies before they fired. A young delegate asked quietly, Are humans gods? Liren smiled softly. No, they are humans, but they refuse to be small. The council sat in deep thought. Meanwhile, on Earth, Vera Kalinov prepared to speak before the Galactic Council for the first time. She was not just a diplomat. She was a symbol of the new humanity. Her body was enhanced with nanotech, her mind connected to centuries of human knowledge and AI support. The council watched as Vera appeared in their chamber, not in a ship, but as a shimmering image, a projection that seemed to come from nowhere. Her voice was clear and steady. Leaders of the Galactic Council, she began, we did not ask for this conflict. You sent a fleet to destroy us without truly knowing who we are. She paused. We are the survivors of our own mistakes. We are the children of Earth's fires and storms. We chose to change instead of die. She continued. The Codex Doctrine guides us. It is not a weapon but a promise. To keep evolving, to keep learning, to keep protecting life. The council members listened carefully. Vera said, We destroyed your fleet, not because we hate you, but because we cannot allow threats to our freedom. She looked directly at the leaders. But we also offer peace. We do not want war. We want respect. The room was silent. Then a voice came from the back. It was Liren. We have underestimated humanity, he said. We thought them reckless, but they are wise. High Chancellor Zorak spoke last. We ask for your help, he said. Teach us your ways. Help us understand the Codex Doctrine. Help us grow. Vera nodded. That is why we are here. To build a future together. Back on Earth, the news spread quickly. The galaxy was changing. Humanity was no longer a threat to be feared, but a beacon of hope. Scientists across alien worlds reached out to collaborate. Artists exchanged works with human creators. Trade ships traveled to and from Earth carrying goods, knowledge, and dreams. Yet, the Council warned, humans were still unpredictable. Their power was great. Their will was strong. If the galaxy wanted peace, it must respect humanity's way, and humanity, they continued to look forward. The halls of the Galactic Council were filled with a tense silence. After the shocking defeat and the revelations about humanity, the Council had one urgent question. What comes next? And now, the answer stood before them, not in a ship, but in a form that defied expectations. Vera Kalinov, the post-human diplomat, appeared in the chamber, her image shining with calm confidence. She was no longer just a human. Her form shimmered with nanotech enhancements and her eyes glowed softly with an inner light. She spoke clearly, her voice steady. We come not as conquerors, Vera began, nor as victims. We come as a new kind of being, one forged by struggle, by hope, and by an unbreakable will to survive. The council members listened carefully. They had seen Earth's power, but now they saw its soul. "We destroyed your fleet to protect ourselves," Vera said, "but we did so with restraint. We did not destroy your worlds. We did not seek revenge." She paused, her eyes scanning the room. "But now," she said, "we offer you a choice." A murmur rose among the council delegates. Vera continued, "We will share our knowledge, our technology, our wisdom, but only if you accept us as equals, not as threats, not as children to be controlled." The High Chancellor looked down, clearly wrestling with his own pride. "What if we refuse?" he asked quietly. Vera's eyes flashed with a sharp light. "Then we will protect ourselves. We will defend Earth with every means at our disposal. But war is not our desire." The room fell silent. Then, slowly, one by one, the delegates began to nod. A new chapter was opening. After the council meeting, Vera traveled to the outer space gardens surrounding Earth's orbit. She walked slowly among the glowing trees and floating flowers, signs of Earth's commitment to life even in the cold vacuum. There she met with Leorin, the Sarthak ambassador who had once doubted humanity, but now stood as a friend. "You have changed the galaxy," Leorin said softly. Vera smiled. "We did not change it alone. The galaxy changed us too." Leorin looked out at the stars. "The council fears your power," he said, "but they also hope." "We are not gods," Vera replied. "We are simply humans who refuse to give up." "And yet," Leorin said, "you have become something more." They stood together in silence, watching distant ships cross the darkness. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, Earth's message spread. The technology once feared was now offered as a gift. Species that had once planned war now asked for trade. Scientists from distant worlds came to learn about Earth's probability manipulation, its clean energy, and its advanced AI. But Earth's gifts came with conditions. "We will not help those who refuse to respect freedom," Vera said in a broadcast to all worlds. "We help those who seek peace, who honor life, who want to grow." Some species accepted immediately, others resisted, fearing Earth's growing influence. But none dared threaten Earth again. Back on Earth, Vera looked up at the stars from the gardens. A new peace was forming. Not one forced by weapons, but built on respect. She whispered softly, "We remember what it is to be afraid, and we will never let that fear control us." Sentinel Core 9 replied calmly, "Probability of peace, increasing." Vera smiled. "The galaxy will tremble, yes," she said, "but not from fear, from hope." Years had passed since the Great War that never truly became one. Earth stood at the center of a new galaxy, a galaxy changed not by conquest, but by the unstoppable spirit of humanity. The Galactic Council had been reshaped. No longer was it a group that controlled others with fear and rules. Now it was a gathering of equals, led by many, including Earth. On a vast shining space station orbiting a distant star, Vera Kalinov watched the stars with quiet pride. She remembered the old council chambers, the fear, the hatred, the battles, lost and won. Now she saw something new, a galaxy learning to live with the power and promise of Earth. She spoke softly to Sentinel Core 9, the AI that had guided humanity through countless threats. "Have we changed the galaxy?" "Affirmative," the AI replied. "Humanity's influence is the greatest recorded in history." "But what about those who still fear us?" Vera asked. "There will always be fear," Sentinel answered. "But they learn, they adapt." Vera nodded. "Just as we always have. Across the galaxy, monuments had been built, not to glorify war, but to remind everyone of a warning. Do not provoke humanity. They are beyond war. Children from many worlds grew up hearing stories of Earth's rise. They learned how humans faced destruction but chose evolution, how they fought with ideas instead of weapons, how they became guardians of peace. Leorin, now Earth's ambassador to the Galactic Council, visited one such monument on the planet Sarthak Prime. He stood before the great black stone, carved with images of Aegis I and the Dyson Swarm. He thought, back to the first day he saw Earth's true power, the day the Council's fleet vanished without a sound. He whispered, "We tried to cage them, only to learn they had broken the very idea of a cage." Back on Earth, humanity had not stopped, growing. They had spread across the solar system and beyond. Their colonies on Mars, Europa, and Titan thrived. Their science had reached new heights, but Earth remained humble. The Codex doctrine was still alive in every heart, a promise to never stop adapting, to never stop learning, and to never lose hope. Vera Kalinoff now led efforts to bring together species from all over the galaxy, creating new alliances based on trust and mutual respect. She often thought about what had brought them here, not just technology, not just strength, but the simple human spirit that refused to be broken. One day, as Vera walked through Earth's orbital gardens, she received a message. It was from a small, quiet planet at the edge of the galaxy. They asked for help, not because of fear, but because of hope. They wanted to learn how to rebuild after war. They wanted to learn how to create peace. Vera smiled. She sent a reply. "Together, we will build a future." And somewhere deep in the stars, the galaxy trembled, not from fear, but from a new kind of power. The power of a united future, the power of humanity.